So before the camera started rolling, you were speaking to me about the money spent on proper scholar transport in the Western Cape. It exceeds the money spent on education itself, but it's important. Won't you explain to us why?
Sure, we have a learner transport policy, or the education department does, of whereby they invest a certain amount of money out of a pool for any learner who is more than 5 kilometers from their place of residence to the school. Then we are obliged to actually provide a transport service for those learners. Then the department goes out into area, they tender, and based on that tender, the vehicle must then be checked by our department at either a government or a private testing station to check that the vehicle is roadworthy. And then once again, the drivers must have a driving permit, professional driving permit, and there must be an operating license, which is then managed by the Department of Education. Our role is to do checks from time to time, random checks. That is done by our provincial traffic authorities. We also work together in the metro area with the city traffic officials, and in the local authorities we also start operations with the local traffic. So provincial traffic works with local. So we might get a tip off that at school X in the garden route there are a number of what appear to be unsafe bakkies transporting children from a place to a school. Well, then we'll go and set up a roadblock at that school, and we will ensure that that vehicle goes through the necessary vehicle checks. And I've been at some of those schools where, quite frankly, it is shocking to see. The one driver I wanted to, look, I saw the door was loose, but when I tried to open the door for him, this was at a school near Khayelitsha, and the door came off in my hand. So it was rather a shocking experience. But on the hand, there are many service providers, I must say, who really do provide a good and reliable service to learners whose parents maybe have to leave for work very early in the morning, and then they're left at home at a pickup point. And those transport or lift clubs are normally arranged by the management of the school together with the school governing bodies, where the school contracts those transports with the permission of the parents, who are then have to pay for those children's transport. But the big thing about this all is we need our children in school and learning, so they need to get safely there and they need to get safely home, so they have sufficient time on task to ensure that they get through the curriculum and fulfill their potential.
Quite right. It's no good having a fantastic school program if your children can't get to and from the school itself.
Correct.
Now, I would like you to please speak us through what bakkie owners or transport vehicle owners can do to ensure that their vehicles do comply with the regulations, and if they were stopped by one of your checkpoints, they wouldn't be found wanting. What do they need to put in place to ensure that happens?
Well, firstly, there's a mine of information on our website. So you can just Google Cape Gateway and then go into the Transport and Public Works model, transport, and then you'll get down. Even the Safely Home button on that website will give them lots of pointers as to what they need to do to work with us to ensure there is compliance within the law. And obviously the same thing applies in the city. So if it's a driver who's in the metro, they will want to know from what the local traffic officials here in the metro will be looking out for.
So all the information is available online.
Yes. And if it's not online and they want to phone us or they want to write to us to send them the necessary information, that's fine. They can do that.
But certainly speaking to you, I realize that in the Western Cape especially, there are alternatives, and that children really do have the opportunities to be transported to and from school in a safe manner.
Sure, we are doing our best. There have obviously been challenges in the past where we've stopped certain buses, and then if we do a planned operation, we've got to ensure, because many vehicle drivers pick up children for a number of different destinations. So say, for example, a driver from Khayelitsha picks up 10 learners. Okay, the vehicle's capacitated to carry 10. But they may drop 2 of those learners in one spot, 4 in another spot, and another 4 in a third spot. So if that vehicle is stopped at destination number 1, we've got to have alternative transport there to make sure that the other 8 learners get to their respective schools. Because if that vehicle is impounded, then what happens is that we have to make sure the other 8 learners get to school on time. So it takes quite a lot of planning, an operation like that. And obviously the best is prevention rather than having to impound vehicles. So if any of the vehicle operators or owners of the vehicle want to need more information about what it takes in terms of the law to operate a service for learners, they must just contact us and we will point them in the right direction.
Minister Grant, thank you so much for joining us today.
Great pleasure.